Hello and welcome to the next episode. This is definitely the last one. We are going to rush into the Industrial Revolution as our Roman Empire here. And that's basically what I want to achieve and then see what kind of impact it will have. So we are probably going to play until 1760, maybe 1750, 60, something like this. There we are probably going to make a cut because the last 100 years will only be not that much happening afterwards anymore. And we really achieved all what we wanted to achieve here. Of course, there's still a little bit stuff to do on the communication efficiency front, and I still want to build up more stuff that we have here. What kind is interesting is the... how much farmland do we have left? Yeah, it's still here. So let's throw some cash into there to push those provinces forward. Say like 100 here, here, here. And then 100 as well. Okay, we don't have that. We don't have that. This should be enough for the moment. But as we can see here, the most part of the empire is actually without available farmland now. So we are really maxed out on that front. And it probably will stay like this. And we are going to annex a bit new farmland here in the east, probably, and here in the Horde territory when we go for it. But that's still not gonna cut it. But we saw at the end of last episode that we have a food surplus for the moment. Ah, they are removing to St. Petersburg now, but they don't have a city there. Maybe we should tweak the decisions for that. You should only move to St. Petersburg if you have a city. Yeah. But, yeah, respected figure is fine. We also need to improve here a bit. It's still terrible here, but it's also super remote. I think there's much we can do here. Nah, I don't think that's not worth it, probably. It's just way too remote. What? 500 income now? Wow. Just going up here. With all the stuff we are doing. So probably also an after effect from the rural governance here now, because we got more rural skill. And the peasants are losing less wealth to the nobility. Which means we can tax them harder or more efficiently because they are also wealthier. That's of course a benefit here. But 15% rural skill also will have a big impact because it actually means that a lot of people are going to be unemployed. Because we are really maxed out in a lot of provinces now. I think we can take Circassia here as a good example. Let's check it out. Or something here in Egypt actually. So let's take Cairo itself. We saw last time that it is maxed out. And although there's only a 83% throughput, so there is still room. But yeah, they are growing by 4.5k and 3k are already emigrating because of these things here. And of course 7.7k are moving towards Constantinople itself here. Is there a map mode for migration? Yes, here we go. So where are the most people moving? So Egypt, for example, is getting moved out. And most are moving to Constantinople, into the polis. But there's also France is in general attracting population. Yeah, we still need to fix this issue here. We still have cities with minus 17k here. I think that's this one, right? Yeah. So can we just... We should fix this one. I think it already had amenities for once. No, apparently not. Apparently not. Yeah, good. Well then. And of course there are also other provinces here which still lack amenities. But I guess we can improve on that over time. I mean, what would be interesting is to, if we were to pick all provinces here and then build amenities 1 everywhere. 56,000 only and 466 units. That's not a lot. Because this means that a lot of provinces already have amenities 1. But yeah, I don't have 56,000 ducats here. Even with 500 income, that's not all too cheap here. In regards to food, if it really gets tight, we can start building more irrigations instead of amenities and such. But we are only at 17% urbanization rate at the moment. So there is still a lot of room to grow into. And with the industrialization on the horizon, of course, everything will again change a bit. Well, so I'm going to push forward here a bit and get ready for industrialization and so on. Which still just is 20 years of waiting and investing because of the time limit in the admin tech. Okay, here we are. This is the first event for industrialization, even though I didn't unlock it yet from the technology perspective, but maybe someone else did, I'm not sure. No, not by the looks of it. However, someone, we definitely get this one now. And I don't think we get a ticking. No, we can't reinvent it, so that's not possible. However, what we can do now is progress in tech towards admin 56. I think we can buy it. This costs 500 and then this one costs 1000. There we go. Perfect. And now we can actually wait for the next year and be curious about the impact. Yes. We got a really good air here. 554. Definitely going to make her king as soon as possible. Because that would get rid of all the corruption we currently have, which is mostly from the only average skill of the ruler that we currently have. So now industrialization probably has to be calculated in the background. And also there is a lot of skill stuff getting updated now. So for example, our process materials here. No, it didn't yet. So maybe that's... Oh no, wait a second. Yeah, I didn't reinvent it yet. So we don't get the bonus buff yet. But it's just a question of time when it will get initialized here. Because we are now... Yeah, we have admin 56. Commercialization, scientific method, and admin 44 all fulfilled. Yep. So anytime now the institution will get started to get calculated here and spread. Probably within this year. In 1737. What? Where do we have rebels? Interesting. Did that just split off? Yeah, that did just split off from my horde here. Why? How dare you? So we are going to annex that. Yeah, this horde is falling apart constantly. Which is super annoying. Okay, and we need to use our missionaries a bit manually for the moment, just to optimize our culture spread a bit. So some of them are manually, some are just normal. Okay, that should be relatively easy though. Okay. We just take these provinces here and feed them to Takitaksan, which also split out of the Mongol horde here. So there we go. No, wait a second. These provinces should all go to me. So I have to make sure that I get it. Which means I have to siege it down at least once. And now we can go back to manually having all missionaries again. Come on. There we go. So, now wait a second. Actually, we can just give all of these here to them immediately, because that's what we were going to do. There we go. Because I think then they won't split up again. Now let's see how it will develop. Meanwhile, a lot of stuff is still ongoing, and as we can see here, I made a few projects and a lot of stuff has been building on its own. But most importantly, I've been making amenities 1 basically everywhere where we have a city now, just to pull all cities up to some better growth now that industrialization is kicking in any second now. Yeah, there we go. That's our spread rate here. So we exactly see where we don't have a city. Baluchi. Okay. So it's just a matter of some months until we can start considering to embrace it. Definitely not this year, but next year. Where are you going? There. I was hoping that we are faster on the religious conversions, but it's super slow. Even though Hungary is now almost done, which is something, but not. Still, England is missing and some provinces here in the lowlands, or in Germany rather. And we didn't even get properly started on North Africa. Not to talk about the newly integrated provinces here, but, well, that's gonna take time. I don't think I'm going to finish that up, but we get at least close. By the way, there's also the Suez Canal under construction currently, when the game wants to let me continue here. So Suez Canal, oh, that's this province here. Oh, almost done, actually. So we just can wait for this as well. That's going to get us 50 trade power plus global trade power, which is of course very powerful. Because it increases everything. Although it doesn't really help us much in the province, in the trade nodes where we are dominating anyway. So I think its use is limited for us. Yeah, game is getting slower by the minute now. Every year gets harder to calculate because it's so much population and everything. Especially in our realm, we have done so much stuff now. Like all the production that needs to be calculated, infrastructure and so on, which is currently under construction. There's really a lot. Okay. There we go. Go back home. So, how long will it take? Looks like it's a few percent per tick. Yeah, 2.546. So it will be there in 3 years. Nice, nice, nice. So let's jump to that point when we can embrace it. Oh, what's that again? Okay, we are going to help them. There we go. So we got the event that the industrialization is spreading because we do have the first province or 2 provinces which actually have it. So of course that's only 2% currently. But yeah, that's going to go up very fast now. Meanwhile, we are here automating a war in the south. What's that? Dutch rebels. How did they happen? Didn't even notice that. That they were brewing here. I thought the Moroccans had an eye on that one. We don't need that one. Of course, our heir died, so he was too good to be true. Instead, we just got a 531 as a replacement, and not really a good replacement. So that's a problem. Now, should we? Yeah, we are going to expropriate again. So what's left here? Fisheries, mines. So it will be mines. Mines. There we go. Yeah, so the industrialization will take a bit to take hold, of course. But the spread rate is really fast due to the industrial or urbanization that we currently have. So I do think within the next 2 years it will be done. Or at least that we want to embrace it. So now we do have enough money to exactly build this one. Garrisons in every province. That's what I want here. At least in the Empire part, not in Arabia. I don't think they are in there. Do I want to... I mean, probably I should give these provinces to Alva here for annexation. So that's their goal in the end. So I should let them have that. Here we go. Oh, I missed some. These ones as well. That should be it. I hope that they make peace relatively soonish. Here as well. Can we even get there? I don't know. Oh, there's a lot of troops down there. Now, let's check the industrialization again. We are up to 4% now. Paris also has spread. And who else? Yeah, Cairo, of course. So the big cities are gonna go first. But as we can see here, there's a lot of 80, 90, 60, 70%, which all will therefore finish up in the next 2 years. What's that again? Abyssinian Highlands, yes. They also convert to Orthodox, please. And though we're going to lose this eventually. So next step is going to be to decide if there are any minor provinces that we maybe want to improve on. What are you doing? Ah, you're going home again. Interesting. I'm actually considering to get out of the war here. Yep. Don't really care about the alliance here. So let's get our armies home. You as well. Go to Damascus here. Okay. Now we just wait for the institution. Yeah, already up to... There we go. So 12k currently. But I think with every month it will go down significantly. Yep. Nice to see that progress going up so fast. That's pretty impressive. That's almost 3,000 per month it goes down. Crazy. Lundu has conquered a lot here. Lunda and Lundu. And Madagascar also has unified under one tech. Congo has taken almost always everything. Then we have Limber, Igboland, and Nupe here as the main West African techs. Let's see what America has to offer. Oh, that's still chaos here. Nobody went after Central America. Same here. Of course, our Brazil is dominating the playing field here. And there's some stuff left from the previous old colonizers, like here, Castile and France or England do have provinces here in the New World and also in the Philippines, which is quite funny. So because we kicked them out from Europe, but they're still alive. But they will not return to the continent. Okay, now next year has kicked in. So theoretically, I think the bonuses should already apply. Yep, the skill cap went up significantly here. And now we are going to see what it will do to commerce as well, which can increase massively. Housewares is also going up crazy here. Fascinating. Hopefully that will produce a lot of new opportunities for commerce, because I really want to stabilize above 10k just for myself to have this achieved. We already were at 10k, but it decayed again due to being unprofitable. So it overshoot massively and then decayed backwards to almost 9k, which is a lot of money that got evaporated there. Okay, so where are we? I think we are in a shape where I would say 4,000 is okay. We take it, and so all provinces will now get the really nice bonus here, and we just got hit by that. So what can we do? I think we are going to just tech up a bit here. And see what... So that's the maximum currently. There's one more idea group coming, right? 58. Can we get there? No. Really? Ooh, that's bad. Ooh, that's really bad. We had such a great air, and then this must happen. So we are going to scale down now on the advisors to reduce the corruption further. Okay, we have to take one more military tech here, because 2,533 is apparently our maximum. There we go. Stability 3 again. That helps against our rebel problem here. And we go into this infantry, hunter cavalry, force artillery. We could actually scale down on our military investments here. We have way too much expenses from this. So we can... Let's reduce it by 15%. And see what will come out of it. Declining power of the landlords, that's okay. They don't really have power anyway. We still need to demote them once again. But they are going down. Slowly. We take a lot of property from them. So that helps. Okay, that can be done by them on their own here. Now, religion. Slowly. Hungary is now done. Germany is underway. The big question is what to construct now. Sadly, Constantinople has been shooting itself with the Parallelism 2 from the construction on its own here. If you check out here the infrastructure fund, we have 10,000 in the infrastructure fund. Although it's currently... Okay, the construction are ongoing, that's why the maintenance spending is so high. But yeah. We have a lot of cash in there. They would like to build more stuff, but it's just queued up already. Pathing is getting done currently. Next level pathing would also increase burghers again, which we don't really need. I mean, we already have a labor problem on burghers anyway. We do have 130 more labor supply for burghers than we need. So, yeah. It's not really necessary. Let's see if the industrialization will lead to massive changes here in the commerce afterwards. What we could do is just push it a bit by a notch here. So we just invest like 500 into it. 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on. 5. Just to see what happens afterwards. How's the urban industry? 66, and there's a lot of skill growth. So let's also invest a bit into industrial here. Like this. Perfect. Okay, and now we just continue onwards and see what it will do to our economy here. Especially here, this city will be... Well, it will go up in profits tremendously. Growth has also reached 10k now from residents here. Oh my, that's a lot. It means that within the next 100 years, it would reach 2 million or even a lot more. I mean, 100 years with 10k is 1 million, but this is exponential growth. So it would be a lot higher after 100 years. What's that? Really? Okay. Yeah, we have a little bit of a rebel problem from time to time. Mostly due to the fact that we have so much unrest modifiers. You can see it here. We do have from the reform appointed +4. Centralization gives us 8 and innovativeness gives us +2. And we are already countering that with full grain doles, aggressive policing, and positive stability, but it's not enough here. So actually considering the next idea group to be militarily here, and then probably do fortifications, because it has the +-2 unrest in the end. I mean, naval would be nice for shipbuilding and woodworking, but I don't think we care right now. So unrest is a lot more worth it here. Of course, we could also do something like civic religion here to get tolerance of true faith and therefore unrest reduction as well. That scale's 1-to-1, right? Yeah, that's 1-to-1. But fine. Let's speed forward a bit. Okay, here we are. We have come to the point where we end the campaign. It's 1769 now, and I think the last... When does it end? 56, so about 80 years which are left. We're not going to play here because it's hasn't reached a point where, well, let's say we are unchallenged here. And yeah, so let's have a look at the stats, what we have achieved so far, or up to this point. And our Roman Empire that we have recreated here is, of course, thriving and going into an industrial revolution now, but we are not going to follow that up because the end here now. So yeah, as we can see here, the eastern bit of the empire where we started is pretty much as we wanted. So the culture spread here is nice. Everything is retaken. The rest, of course, is a mess. So that would still take at least another 100 years to convert everything and get the culture conversion going here to make it look half Roman at least, half decent. But yeah, that would be just waiting, and that's I don't have the time for this. So instead, let's check some stats here and talk about what we could have done differently. So first of all, let's check our population. So we end the campaign with about 140 million rural population. Nomad population has almost completely disappeared, which we took over here in the Crimean Caucasian region. And our residents are almost, 27 million of, I think total is 170 million, so that's, I don't know how much that is. About 30%, roughly. So urbanization rate is a bit higher than historically would be accurate for the time frame, while the total population is lower than we would have it be. So by the size we are in here, we should have a lot more people. So that's we need to tweak that. But I did already some tweaks in the next version to push up the population growth rate later on when you get into that time frame of the agricultural revolution and industrialization, where we are currently in the middle of, basically. So that's some changes for the future. I think worth pointing out is that we are growing by almost 1.2 million people per year. So that's about 1%, less than 1%, which is very low. But quite noteworthy is that our resident population, so every urban population, is growing by almost 250,000 per year, which is really a lot. It would still go up though, because we are investing heavily into amenities currently, but yeah, we're not going to see this. I think we're also running into a food shortage here now, due to the fact that we are pretty... Oh no, I'm taking that back. We do have still 7,000 excess food. So that's a lot. Salt is also way overproduced here. Oh, fiber is a problem. We do have a deficit of 4,000 fiber here. Fuel is fine. Raw materials is really good. Exotic goods. Can we please stay at this song? Or at least this one. And exotic goods, of course, are massively out in shortage because we are not producing any, so we have to import them. We can check that out at Constantinople in a second, where we have our main trade hub. Timber is far underproduced, which is surprising. Let's check that out actually. So if we I would assume that we still have a lot of forests not used. Oh, okay, I take that also back. So we do have everything maxed out here. That's why we have a problem. Interesting. That's unexpected, actually. Luxury is very good. Consumers are very good. So we have a really big surplus here now, which probably drives down the prices, right? So let's see. Consumers are down to 7.5 already. That's really good. I mean, this is pretty what we want to, because later on you get into this early industrialization phase, so the prices should drop significantly. Consumers are well along what we want to see. Industrial also. And knowledge is fine. Industrial is also decent. Luxury is a bit high in my eyes. And timber is surprisingly high, but that explains the shortage. So despite a high price, we still have a massive deficit here. Alone this city here consumes 260 units. So that's a lot. Yeah, food price is surprisingly low with 2. Interesting. And yeah, so 18,000 commerce. Knowledge is also good. Now let's see here in Constantinople itself. We see that it's 1.3 million already in 1769, growing crazily fast. So that would only speed up further now. But of course we are reaching the maximum we can have here soonish. At least what we allow in the mod, which would be around 2 million. Then we can't, you can't build more amenities for that. So, most importantly, or most interesting, there will be the trade screen here. I was just searching for it. So as we can see here, that Constantinople itself is massively trading in food itself, moving it around the empire, which is of course massive. So we, for example, can see that we are exporting 267 to Ilocos, whatever that is. Ilocos. Let's see. Oh, okay, that's Southeast Asia. So we are exporting food half across the globe. Funny. 270 units is a lot. Salt is pretty much also a trade good moving around. Fuel is relatively uninteresting here. And raw materials is also a big deal, actually. Consumer is a massive deal with 24,000 value. So, of course, we are producing 1,000 alone in the metropole region of Constantinople itself, so that's a lot. Military is marginal. Naval is not really worth mentioning. Industrial is okay. It's expected that it will be moved around. Actually, we're exporting 230 units to Accra. Is that where I think it is? Near East? Yeah, it's Accra. So, okay. What else do we have here? Timber, of course, we have this massive shortage, so we are buying it from our colonies, actually. So that's Canada and the USA. Detroit, Carrara, and Quinnipiac? Probably that's Canada or something. And exotics we are... Oh, what's happening? Something crashed in the background. Okay, here we are again. My graphics driver crashed in the background apparently. Something it didn't like. So we left out on the exotics, so we are importing that mostly from the colonies in the New World, which is to be expected. What surprises me here is that we are not seeing the Near East as an importing location, which is interesting. I mean, we see at least Accra and we see Muscat in Arabia, but other stuff should all be in the New World. Luxury is only a small product. I expected more here, actually. so more trade. And yeah, we are of course trade rank 1 out of 277, so we are the most important node. That's not surprisingly here. And if you look at details, Constantinople itself is producing, has a size 15,800 commerce. That's of course insanely huge. And even housewares here and processed materials are like housewares at 3,400, which is crazy. And it has a profit rate of 85%. Impressive, I would say. Yeah, and if we look at development itself, so let's check our provinces itself. Province overview. I think there's this one, right? Yeah. So we do have the two biggest provinces with Cairo, which is now Heliopolis, and Constantinople. Okay, Constantinopolis, to be correct. And then we have something here down here. And of course a lot of Chinese cities, which is not surprising because they also have massive population sizes. What might be interesting in the screen before, when we only look at our provinces, it's sorted by cities. We see here that we have, of course, Constantinople as the biggest city in our empire. Then we have Heliopolis, Cairo, and then Venice or Venetia. Macedonia, where's that? I have no idea. Macedonia. No, not Donia. Donia. Nah. Macedonia. Like this? Yeah, like this. Ah, it's Tunis. Interesting. Didn't know. Leucotia, that's Paris. And Theodosia, that's up here. And Mariotis, that was also something in Egypt, yeah. And yeah, so we have a lot of cities which are roughly half the development of Constantinople, which is pretty good. And let's see the largest rural provinces here. It's this one here. Of course, Circassia, because of the massive population size, and then we have some provinces in Hungary, Egypt, France, and Anatolia, greater region, let's say like this. Yeah, funny. And of course, our main army supplier, as we already saw in the last episodes many times, is of course Constantinople and Cairo itself, because we're drawing from their massive population size, and Circassia itself, that's why we built that up. And yeah. What also might be interesting to see is the remnants of the religions. So we can see here that there are only 19 countries which are still following our religion, but we have the most provinces because Russia, which is the second largest nation here, is of course following it as well as I do in the Orthodox way. And then we see of course all the Chinese and Indian provinces in their faith. This is East Indies, and there are a lot of small states left which are still following Sunni faith here. Yeah, so there's not a lot. So I think we have like half of the world currently, Russia and I, in regards to provinces. So that's of course the most dominating faith here. Let's see what else might be interesting to look at what we achieved over time. We checked already the cultures here, and we checked of course, the autonomy map mode is pretty boring now because everything is pretty good. So we are down to 10% even in England now. Oh yeah, communication efficiency. Yeah, so communication efficiency is what we can see here now. We actually pushed up the center of France, which we were investing into heavily, to 91%. So it's almost, I think this is as high we can get here. So we do have a capital rank 3 here and a harborage level 6, so that's almost as good as we can make it. We could invest further into it, but it doesn't change much. And London has gone up to 85%, so we got it to over 80%. That was one of our goals here. Of course, there are still remote regions like here in the how are the mountains called? I forgot, which are 50% now. Or down into Arabia, which is of course really remote from us. And also east southern Morocco, which is at 50% at least. So it's not too far. It's not too bad in the connection. For that to change, we would need to build up this harbor here, which is 80% already, but if we would push this to harbor 6, then we would also see like 90% probably, like London itself. So pretty good. I think we can be quite happy with the results here. The only thing I really lack, or what I would have liked to make better, is the whole Danubian river network here. I think we could have invested a lot more into this. We see that it is falling behind compared to, for example, here the Seine and whatever the Rhone. I think the Rhone River here. So we could have done better here. Now let's go to things we could have done better earlier. And I think most important would be the investments in general, because we are focused so much on taking over the remnants, reconquering the Roman Empire more or less. So the investments of these cities could have been a lot better. I started way too late to fund the infrastructures in our provinces. I noticed that so we have an expense of almost 9,500 here into infrastructure now. We could have started with that a lot earlier, and therefore saved us a lot of cash from decaying infrastructure because the provinces are too poor. I think I want to change this in general because I consider the whole mechanic to be very counterintuitive how it works with the fund infrastructure button here. So that's really, I don't know. I think it should be more that you are forced to pay some infrastructure when you reach a high centralization standard. So we should check out, we went to unitary and total centralization in our empire, which is of course, this should lead to massive costs in regards to upkeeps. I'm not sure how I want to do it, but I would like to change this. But that will be a lot of work to address this problem. I'm not sure how I want to do it. I don't have time for this, to change it. Yeah, but overall, I think we achieved pretty much all of our goals here. But we could check out noble power here. So because we crushed them pretty hard, yeah, we can see here that there are provinces without any presence of them. So like Constantinople itself. They still exist, but they don't have any say in the local politics anymore. Oh, no, they still have 7% here, right? Does it show as... Oh no, it's not 32. So where is 32? Here. So here they have no power at all. That's interesting here. So we don't have a clergy here, we have nothing here. So it's purely commoners here. We can also see that in the provincial corruption here because it doesn't exist, because there's no local elite left. So no nobles, no burghers, no clergy. That's hard to achieve actually. But there are other provinces like this, probably not cities. Yeah, here we have burghers left. Funny. Yeah. What else here? Also a city without anyone. Doesn't have commerce here? No, it doesn't have commerce. Funny. There are no burghers either. That's surprising. And I think the clans, if we check at tribal networks, we are... Yeah, there's some left here in the southern part of Arabia. Everything else we also got rid of. And let's see, corruption here in the provinces is extremely low, but also here in Arabia some left. And state reach should be 100%. But yeah, except for the ones we integrated latest, everything is at 100% here. Good. So we modernized everything. So there is some stuff we could have done further, which would be mostly here the military organization upgrades, which is not really worth it. I mean, we can check it out. What would have changed from these? So we would get mostly attrition reductions and movement speed buffs, plus professionalism upgrades, but it's not worth it at this point. If you're a smaller nation, then this might be worth it if you can do it. But in our case, it's not worth it. The clergy still is relatively powerful in our empire because we didn't touch them at all since the beginning. But yeah. I stopped working on the nobility here because the only thing we could have done further is taking away property from them, but this is a very tedious process now. And it produces a lot of unrest, which is not necessary here. So the remaining are relatively rich. You can see this also here, I guess. So let's see. The nobility is... yeah, they have a 10,000 fulfillment rate on comfort products and 8,500 on luxury products. So they are buying like crazy, which has got a nice boost to our economy here. That's why... I mean, they don't have power, but they still exist. And are rich because they own still a lot of stuff. And I think what also might be interesting is to see the... so our skill caps currently are around 300 and something. There are 376 for commerce, 450 for education, 320 roughly for luxury, 291 for materials, 270 for ship, 250 for textiles, and almost 300 for housewares. So that's pretty much the maximum you can get unless you take something which we are still lacking. We could, for example, have done naval ideas here, which have given us some more skill buffs, but we could also have done engineering. I'm not sure if engineering gives skills. No, it reduces labor, if I recall correctly. Material cost, labor costs here for projects. So I think that's with naval ideas that would be the last one which gives any skill buff. So and maybe some trade ideas give some trade skill. Yeah, here's some trade skill, but it's not that lot and not that much that we are still missing here. Of course, we also have a capital level 5, which gives us 25% fashion skill. It's quite useful, but not really changing the world here. And we do have some metalworking from the garrison infrastructure here, but... I mean, 320 skill on luxury is, of course, quite nice. Because as we can see here, we are producing 75 luxuries from this industry alone. How much does this province consume there? I mean, this is our main hub for everything here. So let's see. It demands 480 food. It produces 40. It's a small deficit. 560 fiber. Yeah. 108 raw materials alone. 259 timber. That's really a lot of materials. I think military is way too little demand. Only 3.3 for our capital, which is like nothing. Naval, industrial. Yeah, luxury. It produces 75 and it consumes 36. So there's a massive trade potential there. In general, this province is pretty much at maximum what it could reach. So we could make the pathing one level higher and the garrisons one level higher, which would get us marginal boosts, but the haverage is at maximum, the amenities are at maximum. Capital could have gone to 7 as well. That would still have changed something. But as we can see here, the buffs would only be like 4%, and then I think another 4% for communication efficiency improvements. And as we can see already from Constantinople to London, we only have a loss of 15%, so from 100 to 85. This wouldn't have done much. You can see here that the capital infrastructure contribution is 18% alone. So it would naturally be at a lot less. So that's a big change here. Yeah, so let's see. I think this is... I mean, we could have also gone against Russia here, but we were allied to them most of the time. So why not? I would have liked to integrate these bits here still, but I got lazy at the end. Just wanted to play on and build stuff and not longer optimize everything. It would also have just made our religious problems worse, which is still our biggest problem because we are so large and we still have, let's see, that would be interesting. Lastly, so we are, yeah, still only 66% Orthodox in over the whole realm. So this is the main problem we have, which we need to fix. But, well, we won't. And it's super slow, as we saw already. I mean, the last 150 years, we barely got Western Europe converted. No. It's not anything you can do just like that. And yeah, I think that's it. So leave a like and subscribe and see you in the next campaign. Probably on the next version though, when I've done some changes. So there won't be some episodes for the next days, at least for Europa Universalis, MEIOU and Taxes here. So yeah, leave a like and subscribe and see you next time.